Hello, I recently came across this very cool pure CSS pen and it gave me an idea. So let's see how that would work out. I have no idea what I've done here. So 3 times, and here I'm going to have some plain elements. I can't write plain. Okay, that's for the structure. Now let's see these plain elements. So they're going to have a height of calc 100 viewport width plus 100 viewport heights. Next, I'm going to give them a background that's going to be a radial gradient, current color 31%, transparent 0, 50%, and here I'm going to have a background size as a custom property, and then again repeat it, because if I just write it once, it's not going to be consistent across browsers and I'm not going to get the result I want. And the reason why SAS doesn't like this is because it wants to be capital C there. Now I'm going to have a loop. So for I from 0 to 3, I'm going to have nth child, I plus 1. And here I'm going to set a random background size. So that's going to be random, let's say 370 times 0.01 ems plus 0.75 ems, because I want to have a lower limit. Now I'm going to make this absolutely positioned, position absolute. Okay, and I'm going to give this a width, because now since I've made it position absolute, it has a width of 0. And here I'm also going to add an offset plus. Okay, and I want to put these planes in the middle, so I'm going to have margin. So normally here I'd have 50 viewport heights minus half of these two values, but then I'm going to have 50 viewport heights minus 50 viewport heights. Those cancel each other and I'm left with 50 viewport widths. Along the other dimension, again 50 viewport widths cancel each other and I'm left with minus 50 viewport heights minus half of that offset. And now let's set this offset to be initially the background size. Okay, now something else I want to do here is for the body, I want to have margin 0. I want to have height full height, and I want to have also overflow hidden. Now that I have this, I'm going to set a different color for each of these. So I'm going to have a color from that list at the beginning, I plus 1. Now this doesn't look too interesting so far, but if I add an animation, so that's going to be animation, and by default this animation is going to be a moving animation. It's going to have a duration that's a custom property. It's going to be linear and infinite. Okay, now let's see. Here, this animation duration, for the last one, so if I greater than 1, this only catches I equal to 2. In this case, I'm going to have a bigger volume. Otherwise, I'm going to have a random value. Again, have a minimum there. Okay, now let's see this moving animation. So I'm going to have keyframes moving 2. So here I'm going to have a transform. Before that, let's set a transform here. So that's going to be a transform. Here I'm going to have a possible rotation, and then translate 0. This is going to be 0 initially. Now this possible rotation is initially nothing. So it's going to be in SAS I write that unquote nothing. So just a space, which is nothing, as I said previously. Okay, transform, and here again I'm going to have that rotate, and then I'm going to have translate the background size. Okay, now that I've done this, I'm going to do something else. If I smaller than 1, this only catches I equal to 0. This rotation is going to be a rotate 90 degrees. Okay, now that I've done this, I'm going to have another animation here. This is going to be the rotating animation. And here I'm going to have just rotate 90 degrees. Okay, so here, if I greater than 1, so this only catches 2, my animation is the rotating one, and also my offset is going to be 0 pixels. Okay, so this looks nice. It could look even nicer if I'm going to set something like filter, blur 4 pixels, contrast 4. Okay, now one more thing here. I'm going to set HTML. I have no idea what I did there. Okay. And something else I'm going to do is set an animation, and this is going to be a blob, let's say 8.37 seconds, I don't even know. Ease in out, infinite, alternate. Okay, and here I'm going to have keyframes, blob to this value, and I'm going to replace with 8. So this should do it. This should give me the result I want. Okay, and as you can see, it changes. And if I am to refresh this, I should get a different result, because the background sizes and the animation durations are different. And as you can see, again, this changes around here. Again, if I refresh, I should get something else. Okay, now this is different as well, and as you can see, the blobbing evolves. So yeah, this is it for today. You're going to find a link to the finished demo in the description below, and if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, you can drop them in the comments or send them on Twitter. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have and you want me to be able to do more stuff in the future, please consider supporting my work in one of the ways explained in the description. With a donation, by getting me something off my Amazon wishlist, or at least by sharing this to show the world what can be done with CSS these days, because I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching.